Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the Harrogate series. Harrogate is a large borough, one of the 11 districts of North Yorkshire. It's got 139 civil parishes. Which one are we in this episode? Welcome back to Harrogate again, people. It's time for round 23. Now, last week we saw the village of Kirk Deighton. Well, here we're in the other of the two Deightons, the one literally just to the north of it. Now, this is a very different walk. That one was a circle. It was a very nice walk around. This one's going to be a bit different. This is definitely a linear village with not much in the way of landmarks either. But you know me, I will find something. Welcome to the parish of North Deighton. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. North Deighton, northern moated town. Continuing with our journey north through Harrogate, this week we come to the second of the Deighton twins, North Deighton. Unlike its southerly neighbour, this one is far more linear and has a lot fewer landmarks. Mind you, its peacefulness and calm make up for that in spades. North Deighton used to be part of the parish of Kirk Deighton, but these days it flies solo, having split from its neighbour in 1866. Roads-wise, there are two main ones here. The first is the B6164 or Knaresborough Road, which connects North Deighton to Kirk Deighton to the south and to Little Ribston to the north. Secondly, there's a minor road running east to west, which connects it to Spofforth. Most of the housing and notable landmarks here are on that second road. One major exception is Howe Hill, a castle mound to the east of the Knaresborough Road, arguably the biggest and most important the village has to offer. There are two huge properties in North Deighton which have very different pasts. These are the Old Hall, probably the oldest structure in the place, and the Manor House, which is later but was crucial during World War I. Aside from those, there's not a lot to talk about in this one, but it was still an enjoyable walk, albeit a short one. Let's put North Deighton on the map. We start our short walk through North Deighton on West View, an apt name for the street because we are literally at the westernmost end of civilization here. Here's the view, and it ain't bad, is it? Property-wise, North Deighton has changed very little over the years, except for some infilling here and there. Most of the dwellings in this tiny corner of North Yorkshire lie on this road, the Green, which runs between the B6164 to Knaresborough and the village of Spofforth. It doesn't look very green at this point, true, but the reason for its name will become clear shortly. Supposedly, the oldest house in the village is the Old Hall. It's a listed building and the experts reckon it dates back to the 17th century. One part of it still has its original old mullioned windows. There is a story that an actress, together with her two children, was imprisoned in a panelled room at the hall. Whilst trapped, it said she scratched a message on a pane of glass with a diamond. The glass is preserved by the owner, and although faint, the message says, "For 18 months, these walls enclosed echoed my footsteps as with even pace I went around this prison." Quite chilling, I thought. Between the hall and the Knaresborough Road is the green, and it's a big one. Most of the houses here are adjacent to this in some form or other, some being accessed by way of a track that cuts the green into two. North Deighton was originally comprised of 7 or 8 farms and cottages to accommodate the farm workers. It formed part of the Ribston estate at one time, but no longer does. There's more on that in future episodes. It remains a lovely village though. The green is flanked by the manor and manor farm, originally owned by the Inglebys of Ripley Castle. Notice the traffic calming measures, by the way, preventing any would-be speeders from using the village as a racetrack. Let's talk now about the manor, because its wartime history should be noted. During World War I, the manor, Grade 2 listed and dating from the early 19th century, was used as a military hospital, and it was specifically for officers. Unfortunately, records are a bit scarce and little is known about its time as a healthcare facility. However, it's also allegedly haunted, possibly by soldiers. Weighty and sluggish phantom footsteps have been heard within the building. So you see what I mean? There is a marked difference between the two Deightons, isn't there? In Kirk Deighton, everything was just out in the open. You could basically see everything. Here, it's more a case of things hidden away, hidden in plain sight, rather. That's the annoying thing, I think. But yeah, that's the difference between the Deightons. Something else that's hidden in plain sight is Howe Hill. Now, if we carry on down here, this road leads to Kirk Deighton, and off to the left there's a farm track, and that goes up towards a big it's like a castle mound. I don't know whether it is actually a castle mound, but it is a big hill. Now, I believe it's on private land. Not totally sure of this. So we're going to go down there and have a look and see if it is. If it is, we'll just turn around and come back. If not, we may as well go and have a look at it. So now we're on Knaresborough Road, where the houses continue south towards Kirk Deighton. There's not a lot at this end of the village, but you can at least catch a bus here. As with Kirk Deighton, North Deighton is too served by the number 8, linking Harrogate to Wetherby. You'll find the book exchange in this shelter as well, by the way, a purpose-built cabinet no less that's looking extensively stocked. Beyond the bus stop, the road starts to taper off towards the northern end of Kirk Deighton. Howe Hill, which we're after now, is off this road up a farm track. Well, here's the moment of truth as far as Howe Hill goes. You can see we're on a track here. Now this bends around this field, goes like this, and then around the front of these trees here. Now Howe Hill, the mound, is behind that clump of trees. It's sort of out of shot at the moment, but it's over there somewhere. And I figure it is on private land because I can't see a way through. I can't see a right of way through there, and there's no right of way marked on my map, so we're not going to go up to it. To be fair, even if I did try to follow this track and somehow get towards it, I don't think I'd see it because I think the trees would be in the way anyway. So that means that Howe Hill will have to be sort of explained to you in pictorial form. So here comes a special section all about it. In much the same way as the Manor Hospital, very few details exist about Howe Hill. Experts believe it to form a Motte and Bailey castle mound. The structure that once stood atop it would have been from around the time of the Norman conquest. Backing that theory up would be the shape of the mound. It's typical of that type, with the pronounced motte and associated earthworks defining the bailey. Interestingly, there also appears to be 2 separate and distinct manorial moats or fish ponds nearby as well. Local folklore tells you it might be something else, however. Several sources claim that the mound is in fact a mass grave, one of the many sites in which dead soldiers were placed after the Battle of Marston Moor. This seems unlikely because the battle site was over 4 miles away. Supposedly, soil was carted from a pond in Long Marston, located at Westgate Farm, to form the mound you see here. There's also a third theory as to what it is. Between 1938 and 1940, Howe Hill was excavated and various things were found within it. These included Neolithic post herds, flint tools and implements, and a Bronze Age urn. These finds certainly do point us in the direction of a burial mound, but whether or not any soldiers lay underneath it is still open to debate. Okay, so really all we've got to do now is make our way back to the start using the very same route that we used to get to this point here. Now I have saved something for the way back. I thought it was easier to sort of split it into 2 bits rather than do it all in one go. So there is something to see on the way back, and then we're done with North Deighton. Very small one, very easy one, quite frankly. Flanking the green is a rather attractive set of cottages. Almost typically a set of estate cottages, I suspect these once had some relevance to the farms that are close by, but equally they could have been almshouses. Whatever the case, there were no clues that instantly gave away their former use. There was also nothing about them online. They're all now private residential affairs. In the centre of the row above the middle cottage is a recess which suggests there was once a date stone or perhaps a coat of arms upon them, but that's as much as they can tell us. With not a lot left now, we make our way back along the green to where we began. On a wall just after the houses, you'll find a parish notice board. Even though North Deighton is so small, it's still run by its own parish council, and it has been since it split from Kirk Deighton in 1866. 23 down, 116 to go. This wall also features a postbox, Victorian indeed, which is the only real amenity the place has. It's too small to support a shop or a post office. As we amble back to West View, a stone structure appears on the left. Although vastly overgrown, I'd suggest this may have been a pinfold. And that's it for North Deighton, and with it the Deighton twins as a whole. Now, Harrogate has two pairs of twins right next to each other in fact. Next week, we'll be taking a look at the first of that second pair, which, as an estate, North Deighton used to be a part of. Another tiny village, it's just up the Knaresborough Road. See you there, folks. Thanks for watching this video, folks. Don't forget to like this episode if you haven't already. It really makes a difference with YouTube. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us a share too if you've got friends who'd like it. You can find all the links to my social media accounts below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, have a look at some more videos in this series. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.